Hello, and welcome to the third and final interview of the VP candidate tonight. Right now we have Fredrick Beckmann. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Fredrick Beckmann. I'm a junior in business management here at New Mexico Tech. I joined the SGA as a senator in the spring of 2024, and I am still a senator currently.
Why did you join the SGA initially?
I joined the SGA because I want to be in a position where I can serve the general community of Socorro and New Mexico Tech. I believe that leadership is very important, and I can exercise that leadership via the SGA.
Right. And what would you say was the most impactful thing you've done at the SGA since your time joining?
My most impactful thing at the SGA. There was a controversial bill that we were voting on to grant the rugby team the money they needed, the men's rugby team for their conference in Oregon. And since the SGA doesn't typically deal with athletic clubs, they have their own little depository. I felt pretty bad for them because I'm a friend of the rugby team, and I believe that any student, no matter their affiliations, should come to us for help. And almost half of the Senate voted against that bill, and I'm pretty glad it got passed because I want to help everyone in general, not just a select group of people.
No, absolutely. I think everybody should receive as much help as possible. And so speaking of that, in terms of clubs, some clubs have stated that they feel like the SGA isn't supporting them that much financially. Why do you think that is?
Well, I sympathize with their concerns because it appears that way because during the SGA, we have to make some pretty fiscally conservative decisions, thanks to Esteban Ortega, to make sure that we're not stretching out the budget. And it's more of a responsibility issue on our side because if it were up to me, I'd give them all the money they need. But due to those limitations, it's important that we keep our balance in check and continue to serve those students in some capacity. It's not necessarily because we're biased. It is because we have to stay on our guard as well, so we don't accidentally overdraft or go bankrupt or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, we want to help as many people as possible. But if a decision came down to it, what would be the deciding factor for a club to receive money or not? And between two clubs, what would be the deciding factor?
Between the money in two clubs?
Yes, if a certain amount of money had to be given away to two clubs asking for it, and there wasn't enough for both, what would be the deciding factor in which club you chose to give it to?
Well, I would have to examine it on a case-by-case basis. I would have to know the reasons why they need that money. Will it be for something that's productive, important, academic, or will it be something that's just for fun, recreation? I would have to balance the priority of what the two clubs want, and based on which is the most important need, I would be more likely to side with that club than the other.
Right.
Because
and that makes sense. Priorities are extremely important when it comes to those kind of tough decisions because you always want to be able to help as much as possible,
yeah.
But the money has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And another thing that was talked a lot about during the debate was the communication and the collaboration between clubs and the SGA. How would you improve that relationship between clubs and the SGA?
SGA. Well, to improve that communication, I would, personally have a conversation with the members of those clubs, the officers, and I would step into their shoes and figure out what if I was in their position? What if I were them? What would I be needing? Um, so just trying to empathize with their concerns, um, and making sure that I understand exactly what they want before I'm able to help them.
Right.
And in order to, and I would also encourage those clubs to attend our SGA meetings, even if they're not presenting. I used to go to the SGA even before I got elected.
Right.
I loved the SGA. I would give them a window into our sessions, have them see us in action, and be able to determine for themselves, yes, we are good guys. The SGA exists to serve them.
Right.
And this is what my whole campaign is all about. It's a people, student-oriented campaign. And I speak the language of so many students who are hungry for change.
Yeah.
Yes.
How would you say your relationship is with the student community at large? Because me personally, I've seen you at a lot of student events. You were there at the music festival. I've seen you at the Chemistry Club bonfires. What is your relationship with the student community?
I think my relationship with the student community is generally good. I'm a very social guy,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty much friendly. Relatable, personable. But not everybody is totally outgoing like I am, so I try to adjust my personality based on how they're feeling. Like they're the shy guys, they're so I try to manage myself in a way that's appropriate in that situation, especially around them, understanding their individual needs and concerns.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And my next question for you is, the current vice president is Ella Hooks.
Yes.
She's been doing a fantastic job, and she is running unopposed for president, so she will be the president in the next term. What is your relationship like with her? How long have you known her?
I've known Ella Hooks since 2023. She was pretty new to the school at that time, and back in the early days, we used to eat lunch together. Now, her and I are pretty different in terms of majors, in terms of personalities even. But during the SGA, when I saw her, up close and personal, my relationship with Ella became cordial, friendly, and I would have to argue Ella is the most powerful person in the SGA, and seeing her wield that power gave me the inspiration to run for VP, because how can I wield that similar kind of power to better the community at large? How can I improve upon that sort of leadership times 5, times 10? I want to maximize and unleash the full potential of not just the SGA, but everybody. So just having everybody just get out there, enjoy school, and not feel like they have to go through the motions of homework and the ordinary life. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. So I have one last question for you. And so given a hypothetical situation, if you completely had the choice, would you prioritize the quality of student life or boost admissions into tech?
Well, that's a pretty loaded question.
Yeah.
Well, I would say we should definitely focus on improving the student quality of life first. That is the foundation for what makes tech a great school. And if other schools can look up to us as that role model, then I believe that we'll see a major boost in enrollment as well. Because we've got to be, I believe we shouldn't just be number one in the state, but #1 in the whole Southwest region.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for coming in. You did an amazing job. On the
Thank you.
screen now we have Frederick's campaign poster. Scan the QR code and go vote.